Yo, what's happening, Redheads? You read that title correctly. Dragon Ball GT, while the series is short, still has a lot of problems, and while I would prefer GT over Super, it's important to call out just how bad Dragon Ball GT actually is compared to, say, OG Dragon Ball or Dragon Ball Z. I'm the Redhead Henry, and in today's video, I want to discuss my opinion on why I believe Dragon Ball GT sucks. Before we begin, here is my promo bullshit, so make sure that you are subscribed, ding that bell for future Dragon Ball content, and give this video a thumbs up. Now, this doesn't need to be some long drawn-out video. I'm simply going to state my points and move on. Now, don't get me wrong, I still place Dragon Ball GT above Dragon Ball Super, but compared to OG Dragon Ball and Z, it's pretty bad. For pretty much 2 decades, I've always said Dragon Ball GT gave fans 3 things that we can all agree on were the best things to come out of it: Super Saiyan 4, the Baby Arc, and the Shadow Dragons. I'll lump in the ending to Dragon Ball GT as well, as the ending to Dragon Ball GT will go down as the best ending to Dragon Ball as a whole, and is very symbolic as Goku essentially becomes one with the Dragon Balls, but that's a topic for another video. But everything else in GT seems like nonsense. Let me start with the first and obvious choice: Goku becoming a child again. I don't know why this decision was made, but every time I see Goku as a kid in GT, I think what a terrible decision this was. I can't really place my finger on why I don't like this, but it kinda turns me off having to have just watched Goku grown up and become an adult only to see him become a child again. I'd say GT Kid Goku still holds slightly more value to me than Super Goku, who just became this full-on idiot and destroyed his character growth from Dragon Ball Z. But I often think about how different it would have been had Goku just remained an adult throughout all of Dragon Ball GT. I don't think it really would have mattered all that much, but it may have made it more bearable to watch. The next major problem I have with GT is the fact that it focuses on Trunks, Pan, and Goku. It's almost like an incomplete team. They really should have included Goten and Oob, so then it would have been more Goku as the senior who is training or leading Trunks, Goten, Pan, and Oob as the next batch of protectors over the Earth. Having just Goku, Pan, and Trunks feels very awkward. Don't get me wrong, I'm not bashing these 3 characters at all, but I'm simply stating that as a group, this feels incomplete. Bringing back old villains is one of Dragon Ball's staples, but in this case, it just doesn't fit. Super 17 was this wasted little mini arc where all of the previous bad guys came back from hell to cause havoc. First of all, I'm no power scaler, but it always bugged the bejesus out of me essentially how 2 Android 17s merged together are essentially stronger than Goku Super Saiyan 4. It makes no sense considering how strong Goku is at this point. He should easily be able to defeat Super 17, but maybe I'm wrong, but that's really besides the point. This arc just plain sucked. Keep these villains dead. We don't need them to keep coming back, which is part of the problem I have with Super. They brought back Frieza 3 times and Cell 1 time. Keep these characters dead and introduce us to new, unique villains. Other little nitpicks I have with GT are as follows. Why the fuck did they kill off Piccolo? This was so stupid. I understand the reasons why he died in the show. I'm saying from a writing perspective, this was completely unnecessary, as Piccolo already did not have any sort of major role in GT at all. The Shadow Dragons were a good concept, but for some reason, all of the fans always say that it was poor execution without even understanding what this actually means. The Dragon Balls always being a source of good and a way for the heroes to get out of bad situations, and then having them become the primary source of evil was a good concept and a nice twist, but the battles don't feel very impactful or meaningful. I love Omega Shenron's design, and most of the other designs for the other dragons, but all of the fights blend together like a video game boss fight on easy mode. Hell, the fight against Omega Shenron should have felt more like the stakes were higher, considering at the time, he was the final most powerful bad guy in the series. Yet enemies like Baby, Cell, or Boo felt like the stakes were higher, and I think a lot of that comes from the fact that Dragon Ball GT was only 64 episodes, and they don't have any time to flush out development with these dragons or their arc. Sin or Omega Shenron was only in like 8 episodes. Think about that. 8 episodes of this supposed badass ender of everything. Compared to Frieza, Cell, or Boo, 8 episodes is like 15% of all of the episodes dedicated to their first forms. GT overall was just too short and didn't have things flushed out enough as a result of it not being as long as Z or OG Dragon Ball. And I think that's really a missed opportunity. I enjoyed GT, and as I said earlier, I think it still holds the spirit of Dragon Ball within it, but the duration of the series mixed with poor writing decisions made it fall flat on delivering what could have been much more epic in scale. But what do you guys think? Let me know in the comments below, and have a good one.